Well, everybody, as most of you guys know, YouTube is my job. I know. Very unfortunate. It sucks. But I have to make videos on this website for a living. I am truly, possibly the most oppressed and most disadvantaged human being on Earth. I might actually, I have it the worst of any human on Earth, clearly. No. In all seriousness, it's no secret that YouTubers, while loving their job, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it, let's be honest, it is in many ways better than traditional work and traditional jobs and careers in just countless ways. Though it also has, as like sort of a balancing measure, its own extremely unique and for most people unempathizable, if that's even a real word, it's probably not, like its own very unique issues and problems and roadblocks. Obviously, one of the most common are the ones that are implemented by YouTube themselves. YouTube is not exactly known for being the most unsympathetic, thank you. YouTube is not exactly known for being the most loving and caring towards its creators. At least if you're going off of what most creators say about the platform. For example, I think this video from Dubus Goobus actually does a really good job of just summarizing the feeling of what it's like on YouTube when you, like, dare not to upload for a couple days.
Oh boy, I better check the site that is my job.
Wheels are down, boy!
What do you mean?
You haven't uploaded in a month, you greedy little boy! You must be punished with the down symbol, the down symbol!
I've been sick and sad for weeks, man. Come on.
You have 1 day to make a cartoon or I'll kill you!
How am I gonna make a cartoon?
Slash the budget!
How am I gonna... What happened to my lip movements?
Yeah, stills!
It's just making it... I'm not green!
No more coloring, it's a waste of time!
It looks worse!
Who cares in the name of content? You know what? Cut out the middleman!
Why am I a sticky note?
Yes, we'll shit this stuff out like no tomorrow! Then you'll be a good boy!
I don't get it. My audience was supportive.
I'm not the audience, I'm the analytics! I fucking hate you!
Oh, yeah.
Now dance, monkey!
That is the best summarization of the entire experience of being a YouTuber. There's no better summary. However, there's also a lot of complaints from the consumers of the content, not just the creators. YouTube has gotten progressively worse and worse for the consumers of the content, at least according to most of my audience and a lot of people I know that watch YouTube. The biggest perpetrator of this harmed watch experience has been ads. The amount of ads you get on YouTube now, if you're a free YouTube viewer, even if you have ad block, if YouTube has recently updated and patched your ad block into getting blocked by their ad blocker, then you will no doubt be flooded with an unbelievable amount of ads. So you've got the creators and the consumers all complaining about YouTube's changes and decisions. But the thing is, why is YouTube still #1? You could say it's because they're the biggest, but YouTube's been doing this shit for a really long time. Like a really long time, YouTube's been pulling this stuff over and over and over and over and over again. And yet the platform continues to grow. It's by no means a direct financial profit for Google, but they hold on to the site because they want to have complete monopoly over video sharing online. They own video sharing. It's their thing. Google owns that. So even though they're not making a direct financial profit, it's still worth it. It's very much still worth it. Google also acquired YouTube in a economy that was far more favorable than the one that we're in now. And because of that, that complicates things a bit. In some ways, Google is less in need of making YouTube profitable. In some ways, they are. And so because of that, where we are now, Google is kind of strapped for cash. It's a kind of a bad way to put it, but, you know, for simplicity's sake, it works. Google has invested a lot of money into YouTube. It's never been profitable. And it's getting less and less profitable by the year. Even with the site growing and growing and growing and growing, despite the fact that you've got people from entirely new countries with tens or hundreds of millions of people in the population getting internet infrastructure rolled out to them very quickly and getting onto YouTube, like, despite that, Google is still not making a profit from YouTube. They want to change this. Simply using YouTube as a way of cornering the market is not enough. And it's very obvious that Google, when they make the changes they do to YouTube, even if they are very obviously, to us, just the dumbest changes ever, YouTube's not stupid. The platform's still getting as big as it is and is still as successful as it is for a reason. For as much as they do wrong, they're still doing a lot right. I know it may seem controversial, but I believe it. And I think for this video, I actually want to focus on some of the things that don't get anywhere near as much publicity that are actually positive changes coming to YouTube in the near future. And I want to see what you guys think. I'm curious, especially about the comments down below on this video when it goes up on YouTube as its own thing. Now, the first story I don't want to talk as much about. I feel like we can all agree this is objectively good and basically move on. YouTube will soon require content creators to disclose if their video was created with AI. This may not sound super serious on the surface, but how many YouTube channels have you clicked on where you thought you were going to watch like a good video made by an actual person, but it wasn't even a low-effort clickbaiter? It was straight up an AI channel that was just reading with a robot voice or an AI voice, like a Wikipedia page or something. Hightail Spins, for example. Yeah, one of the worst clickbaiters making like fake clickbait hightail content, like hightail release date, like every other week for the last 5 years. Those channels would now be breaking YouTube's TOS if they do not report that they are AI, and it will be clearly marked, which means you'll know if a channel is going to be an AI channel before you click it. And if you click a channel and it's AI and it's not marked, you can report it, and it will now be breaking TOS, and the channel could possibly be breaking grounds for termination. So this is a big deal. It is a really smart move. We really have needed this for a while. Channels that are literally just AI view click farms have been a real plight on the platform for the last year. I'm glad YouTube's been proactive and has dealt with it within a year of the problem really getting to be an issue. Reddit Am I the Asshole posts with Minecraft parkour background channels are going to be in shambles, Xanderhall. Yeah, but those videos aren't generally AI channels. Those videos may use AI voices, although many of them don't. But even the ones that do, there's typically a person behind the scenes making the video. When I talk about AI channels, I'm talking about channels that are literally like, oh my god, what? Have you gotten one of those ads where it's like an AI voice and it's like, the US government doesn't want you to have this lighter. This torch can put out 3,500 degrees of heat and can even create a light so bright it's brighter than a light bulb in a dark room. And it's like a clear AI voice, and it tries to convince you it's selling you some barely legal government loophole gadget or something. I get those ads a lot on my TV. Those ads are made by AI. They're also against YouTube and Google's own TOS, and Google is getting sued for those ads being on their platform. 85% of all science news accounts are just AI copy pastas? Yeah, completely true. Oh. Anyway, that change is really, really unanimously popular, I think. But here, my lovely, lovely viewers, is where I'm about to posit one of the changes YouTube has been for a while talking about implementing that I like, many people don't. And I've already explained my reasons why I like it, but I feel because I'm just Xanderhall, just some guy, a lot of people don't take what I say seriously. Which is why I was mind blown when a YouTuber I've looked up to for so long, I mean, he's literally, he's a childhood YouTuber, for lack of a better term. A man who absolutely, positively does not fucking look like me, made a video agreeing with me on this take. Captain Sparkles. That's right, Jordan Marone, aka Captain Sparkles, recently made a video on his second channel called My Unpopular Opinion on Ad Block. In this video, I've simply never heard a better, more concise and research-backed explanation of why YouTube cracking down on ad blockers and flooding the site with ads is actually a good thing. I know, this sounds fucking crazy. Before you leave a comment, please bear with me, hear me out, and hear Captain Sparkles out. We know what we're talking about. These takes are coming from a place of understanding the fundamental state of the internet and the evolution of the internet as a platform. So, let's watch. We're actually probably going to end up watching this whole video, but I'm going to try to add a lot of commentary so I'm not just straight re-uploading it. But of course, the link to the original video will be down in the description. Please go send as much support as you can to the original video. I imagine many of you already know of him. You know, it's Captain Sparkles. You know who he is. If you know who I am, you know who he is.
I'm going to risk dipping my toes into some controversy today and talk about YouTube's recent crackdown on ad blockers. Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit biased, right? I've been making YouTube videos full-time for the last about 13 years. It's the only career I've ever had. I have no other marketable skills whatsoever. And so in effect, people watching advertisements has allowed me to not have to go learn something useful to survive in the world. Obviously, ad blockers are not a new thing. They existed before I even started making YouTube.
You know what's funny? I'm going to rewind it because I want him to talk for a bit. Captain Sparkles actually looks astonishingly like my uncle. My oldest uncle. He actually looks astonishingly like my oldest uncle
I've ever had. I have no other marketable skills whatsoever. And so in effect, people watching advertisements has allowed me to not have to go learn something useful to survive in the world. Obviously, ad blockers are not a new thing. They existed before I even started making YouTube videos. And so here I want to explore a couple things. One is, why now? After all these years, did YouTube decide, okay, it's the time. Let's crack down on these things that have always existed. And two, exploring the sentiment that I've seen in response to these evolving changes. But before that, just a bit of context, because there are those of you watching this who simply watch ads on YouTube. There are also those of you who are YouTube Premium subscribers, and I guess thank you to both of you, but you probably wouldn't have seen any of the things around this. So a quick Google search will show a lot of recent news stories about YouTube cracking down on.
All right, brief aside, I want to clarify. While yes, I use YouTube Premium, and so I don't have to watch ads, thank God. I mean, obviously, you've never seen ads pop up when I'm covering videos. And there's also tons of other benefits that make YouTube Premium really worth it for me, notably downloading videos so you can watch them on your phone or whatever platform or device when your internet isn't active. Like, if you've, say, got like a big backlog of videos you plan to watch later, you can hit a button that downloads them natively into your browser on YouTube, and then if your internet goes out or something and you still have power, you can just like bring up your YouTube, go into your downloaded videos, and watch those videos that were set in your backlog you'd been meaning to watch while you literally can't watch anything else. Such a useful thing. There's a million scenarios where that like feature becomes handy. And then deleting and removing them from that library is super easy too, so you don't clog up your memory and your like storage and all that. But like, I use YouTube Premium, and despite that, I fully recognize that the amount of ads on YouTube right now is unwatchable. I didn't have YouTube Premium for a while because YouTube wasn't accepting my card for some weird bullshit reason I managed to fix by calling Google support. But I had to watch YouTube with ads on my TV in my living room, and it is downright unwatchable. It is ads every minute on many videos. The shorter the video, the more mid-rolls. And the mid-rolls will be like a 15-second unskippable, 2 back-to-back 10-second unskippable ads, or like 1 5-second skippable ad. It's just the ones that require you to do something are a pain in the ass, like clicking to skip it, because you have to like sit up and like click the button and all that. It's a pain in the ass. But then there's also the ones that don't let you skip, and that's a pain in the ass because they're long and you have to sit there and wait them out when you're watching the video. And they always hit right when the video's getting interesting, because YouTube has AI that scans the videos, or someone manually puts them there, because you can manually put them there. So it'll be like they ask a question, like a rhetorical question that they're about to answer, and you really want to hear what they're about to say, cut straight to an ad. It is just so fucking unpleasant. I am going to defend that in this video. It sounds crazy, but when you hear why Google arguably has to do this, then you'll understand why.
And ad blockers, and what that looks like is now when you go to watch a YouTube video, if you have one of a set of ad blockers, and this is going to be a whack-a-mole game on YouTube's side, is you'll get this display notification that says ad blockers violate YouTube's terms of service. Looks like you have an ad blocker. Either disable it or get YouTube Premium, and then you can continue watching the video. Now, ad blockers are also not a new thing, and Google, being one of the biggest tech companies in the world, and one that exists because of advertisements, they would be aware of this since they were first created, if Google wasn't actually the company that first created it in-house. So it begs the question, why did it...
I don't care, stop defending capitalists. I should frankly ban you for your lip, but I'm not defending capitalists. I'm defending the ability for YouTube as a platform to exist. Because primarily, even beyond the fact that I do my job on YouTube, I would sacrifice my channel on YouTube to keep the platform up so that I could continue to enjoy it for my own entertainment. Like before I would like keep that income, but allow YouTube as a platform to fall. But I'd like keep my notoriety in my career. I like YouTube existing. I think most of you like YouTube existing more than you even realize. Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I guess, is like the new gen of like young people or whatever. I don't even know. Pretty much have substituted YouTube and Twitch as their entire media consumption source out, like besides TV. Like there's streaming services, but like there are Gen Alpha kids, like the youngest kids that are like 4 or 5 right now, that may actually never watch cable by the time they're 10 years old. A single time. They'll have only ever watched, like, streaming services on Roku sticks and consoles and PCs and YouTube and Twitch and TikTok. Why watch cable? Can you imagine the average Zoomer's attention span having to sit through an ad break on cable? I haven't watched cable in untold years. With that in mind, you would think that the fact that so many people are flocking to YouTube and consuming content there, that this means that there is no financial issue, right? Like, surely higher demand means higher profit. That's just the how capitalism works, right? Well, here's the thing. Capitalism actually doesn't work all that well. So what you would think would happen isn't actually what's happening. And what's really going down is ad space. As in how much a slot where an ad could go is worth to a company is dropping, and has been dropping for years. I will elaborate more on this in a bit, but it will continue to drop. And the only way to even attempt to fight against it is to increase the amount of ads. This ruins the user experience, but YouTube is coming up with a solution. You may not like it, but it's what's happening. And I have a feeling you guys are not going to resort to the non-existent alternatives. Let's watch.
It take them, 15 years of YouTube ownership to decide now is the time that we're going to take a stand on the site. My theory for why now is Oh God, it's going to sound so boring, but I find it interesting. I think it's a response to the macroeconomic conditions with higher interest rates. And also, I think it's the fact that YouTube has essentially hit the total addressable market of the internet connected world. And as such, they can't really grow the user base of the platform further. And so what they need to do is optimize each.
YouTube's reached the point of market saturation where its reach is limited by the reach of the internet. The only limit to YouTube's growth now is internet infrastructure. YouTube grows now every time a new country gets the internet. Like, it's not a matter of, like, there are people online using the internet that aren't on YouTube, don't have YouTube accounts, aren't using the platform. No, no, no. Everyone's using YouTube. Everyone's on YouTube if they're on the internet. At all, like in any way. He is right. He is right, and he's going to elaborate here. I don't want to interrupt, and I want to let him speak, because he is based as fuck for this.
Fact that YouTube has essentially hit the total addressable market of the internet connected world. And as such, they can't really grow the user base of the platform further. And so what they need to do is optimize each segment of users. And for a long time now, they've been able to add more users across the world. And also they've had enough of a population on their own in-house apps that don't have ad blocker. And so they've been able to let slide the folks who are using web browsers to watch the videos. But now, with the addition of higher interest rates and that less user growth, they're looking to optimize the existing user base of the platform in any way they can in order to increase the revenue per user of the site. And while Google, or Alphabet in this case, is a publicly traded company and they have to release their earnings.
For those who don't know, Alphabet is the name of the company that owns Google. Google is like a product, is like a sub company under Alphabet. You know how it's like every company is owned, every brand is owned by a company, it's owned by a company, it's owned by a company, and all those are owned by like 4 companies at the end of like the strings. Alphabet is the company at the end of Google's strings.
Every quarter. They don't actually isolate YouTube's finances in the release, but it is theorized that even to this day, with the total internet population of the world essentially tapped into, that the platform is still not profitable. For a long time, this may not have mattered all that much. I'm not going to go into the specifics as to why in a zero interest rate environment it's less important to become profitable quickly as it is in a higher interest rate environment, but it is the case. And so in the higher interest rate environment, again, they might say, look, we actually really need to prioritize making YouTube as a standalone entity profitable when it's not now, especially because we can't rely on bringing in more users to try to drive that profitability. And look, again, outside of Google's own...
Now, I want to add a little detail that I don't know if Captain Sparkles adds himself. You may be wondering, why is YouTube expensive? Why is YouTube like a money sink for Google? Like, sure, there's engineers, employees, interns, CEOs, and they got like land they've built their offices on, and you know, like servers and stuff like that. But like, how much money for a company like Alphabet, for Google? How much money could that really be dipping into their wallets, right? Into their funds. But you have to think about how much money it costs to store data. Google/YouTube on the surface is a video hosting and sharing platform. In reality, they are a data storage platform. They also are the ones storing all of the data in your emails, by the way. Like, if you use Gmail, you know how it says, like, you have this much data left? That's their servers storing your info. Everything you email, send, receive, store in your emails, and don't delete, that's all saved on their servers, too, on top of YouTube and countless other things, because they also do Google. YouTube is one of the biggest sinks on their servers, though. Do you know how much video is uploaded on YouTube as of every day as of 2016? So much video is uploaded on YouTube back in 2016 alone. Every hour, no human could watch all the videos uploaded in that hour in their lifetime. Even if they just watched every video back to back to back, no eating, sleeping, using the bathroom, anything, they wouldn't be able to watch all those videos in their lifetime, because that is how many hours of video were uploaded to YouTube every hour. Now imagine that is happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for what, almost 20 years now? That is a lot of fucking data. Like, unfucking believable amounts of data. I'm actually curious how much it is. I wonder if Google has ever, like, published that. If there is a total number, like, I wonder if there's even a word for the, like, the amount, like, the data unit that is, right? Because, you know, it's like gigabyte, terabyte. What would that be? Xanderhall, I just looked it up. YouTube is speculated to have at least 1 exabyte, which is 1 million terabytes worth of data. Jesus Christ. At least 1 exabyte. And that is definitely a low-balling guess. And that's just YouTube. Not any other part of Google, like Gmail, which is huge. So, with that in mind, 1 exabyte is almost inconceivable. It is. It's practically inconceivable. It is buildings upon buildings upon buildings, countless square feet of massive, massive machines that are just racks of storage servers in order to accommodate this. Usually cooled in, like, pools of liquid. You guys know that's how they have to cool that much data, right? Like, let me show you, like, what it's like. Data cooling liquid. Dude, it's so fucking neat when they, like, immerse servers. Immersion cooling, here it is. Look at this shit. This is a much smaller scale thing. They use oil. This is, like, baby oil is a good use, but mineral oil, just in general, is what they use. And it's non-conductive. It's not like water. So while it does gunk up and ruin a lot of components if you were to take it out and, like, try to use it, as long as you keep it submerged in the oil moving, it keeps everything clean and very cool. But yeah. So, like, imagine that on a large scale, right? And like, that's just an example of, like, a way data storage is done. So that is just an inconceivable amount of money, and here's the problem. The one way that YouTube has been, like, made money for a long time, which is ad dollars, has progressively become less and less and less and less and less profitable. Companies, just in general, that would advertise online when the internet was still fresh and new, highly overestimated how effective internet advertising would be. The assumption was the internet will allow for advertisements to reach countless untold amounts of people. It will be revolutionary. It will be huge. The problem is, people very quickly became conditioned to ignore internet ads. And it actually became the case that internet ads are some of the least effective forms of advertising ever. Road signs are more effective advertising than internet ads. And so because of this, the value has been dropping and dropping and dropping and will continue to do so indefinitely. The only way for YouTube to actually even eke out anything close to profit, they won't get profit, but even close to profit, is to flood the site with more ads. Here's the thing, though. That's not actually their solution. As a YouTube Premium subscriber, I know what their true solution is. YouTube is trying to become a subscription service. And they are going to do it successfully. Many of you guys are going to meet some really harsh realities in the coming years. That the internet that we've all been accustomed to and in love with for so long, where everything is free and you're just allowed to kind of just fuck around and do what you want on these free platforms, and it's all about having fun and doing what you want, is going to slowly die. As the internet becomes more and more and more of a capitalist hellscape. The Wild West is going away. As much of a crazy, insane idea as what Elon did with making, like, Twitter, like, pay to post was, that is the future of the internet. Elon just did it too soon and too jarringly. Platforms have been boiling the frog with this for a while. In the future, most websites are going to require you to pay to post. Maybe not pay to browse, but to pay to post. The no doubt the meta is slowly becoming. Free users watch with tons of ads that are basically unbearable to pressure them into paying to get a subscription, which is far more profitable than them watching the pittance of ads, even if we flooded them. This is why we need a people's revolt now. You can say that, but at the same time, we went over how fucking insane the cost of running YouTube is, right? YouTube has to actually be profitable. It's not a bad idea. Paying $15 a month or $20 a month, whatever it is for YouTube Premium, although I do think they really need to localize the prices. They really need to localize the prices for YouTube Premium. That's the big problem with that, is that people in a lot of other countries literally cannot afford it because the prices aren't localized. YouTube needs to localize the prices. And at that point, I think it's not a bad idea. Make it like Netflix or whatever. Or like Prime Video, Hulu. Make it a subscription service. That is the future of YouTube. The sooner they do it, the better. I know it sucks that the free era of the internet we've been so accustomed to is going away, but you got to remember, the internet is unbelievably young. The internet is so unbelievably young, and we've been fools to think it would stay the way it has been forever. Anyway, let's continue.
Accounting department, it's purely speculation on my part that YouTube may still not be profitable as a standalone entity. But even so, if that is the case, it's not like...
On top of that, Google bought YouTube prior to the 2008 financial crisis, if I recall correctly. I think they bought YouTube in like 2007 or 2006. I'm pretty certain the purchase was pre-2008 financial crisis. That was bad, but the 2008 financial crisis wasn't as bad as the current financial crisis we've been in, mostly due to how prolonged this one has been. Captain Sparkles is right. It was 2007 at the latest? Okay. Captain Sparkles is right. Interest rates are up significantly right now. It's a big part of why the economy is so fucked, is how high interest rates are. That is a huge part of why Alphabet is probably feeling pressure to make YouTube more profitable right fucking now. Immediately. And not put it off. Because the economy is making the cut they're being forced to pay to keep YouTube as sort of this monopoly piece a lot more big. That slice has gotten a lot larger due to COVID in large part. Yeah, investors put a lot of pressure when stuff like that happens. When there's just massive red line go down, investors start getting angry. And even if there's like a reasonable belief that things could get better in the future and we don't need to act irrationally and rashly now, doesn't matter. CEOs and shareholders and whatnot, they want their money. The investors want their money. They want their return.
Some huge shortcoming on YouTube's part. Serving video to people is really, really expensive. And that's why when you look out there really aren't many competitors to YouTube because it requires so much money and infrastructure to make it happen.
You guys have no idea how much money it costs to just start a YouTube competitor. Nebula was started by a millionaire. Like, entrepreneur guy. It is really hard to invest the money and capital necessary to even start a tiny little startup competitor to YouTube. That's not even talking about the cost of just running the actual YouTube.
That competitors can't just pop up out of nowhere. And you look at sites like Twitch and the growing pains that they're going through. Again, it's because of how expensive it is. And once you can't rely on just VC funding or the fact that growth is going to justify this happening in the future, you suddenly have to make some changes to try to hit profitability. Anyway, that's my theory on the why now. Macroeconomics. Anybody still out there watching this?
I am.
Okay,
I
well,
love this
for the
shit.
two of you who are still there, now let's get into the controversy, because I've seen some of the reception to this in comments and Reddit threads and things like that. And I think there are a couple camps of people here. But one of the stances I kind of disagree with is the folks who I've seen say, well, this is ridiculous. I should be able to use my ad block to watch whatever I want ad-free on YouTube for free. And I'm not going to like stand here and shame those people and say, oh,
I got so much hate for saying that I, as a content creator, am actually excited about YouTube cracking down on ad blockers. And people gave me shit. My own audience gave me shit. And it's like, really? You who are admitting to me you watch my content for free with ad block on, so not only are you consuming it for free, but you are also watching it in such a way that ensures I receive no financial compensation from the company. Not from you, but the company in return. Unless you use YouTube Premium, in which case you wouldn't be using ad blocker because you have no ads with YouTube Premium. Like, and you're like giving me shit for being happy that YouTube's cracking down on that. I use AdBlock and, well, I guess you'd use AdBlock for other sites. I mean, YouTube AdBlock, you know? I get if you're upset about that, like you like being able to freeload, but you can't be upset about not being able to freeload anymore and also be upset at the YouTuber being happy that you won't be able to freeload anymore, right? Like, you can't be upset the content creator who's been making free content for you is happy he's going to be able to make more money through means that do not cost you any money. It really feels like a level of entitlement that's bizarre, you know? I wonder if it has something to do with, like, parasocial relationship or something. Like, people feel like they're a special viewer. I don't know. I don't even know.
how dare you not support the creators or something like that. Like, whatever. People want to do that. That's on them if they are able to get away with it. But on the other end, how is it at all surprising that YouTube would act against this in order to try to monetize the users of the site? Because, again, if they're not earning any revenue off of you watching ads, they are losing money serving you that video bandwidth. And as a publicly traded company, well, any company...
Feels like a bad take? How? How are you guys socialists? How do you guys call yourself socialists? How do you call yourself socialists? One of the few... Okay. YouTubers make videos and publish them on a platform where ads run on those videos, which are put there by the platform who works with the companies that you know paid for the ads to put them there, and then the platform pays you. People get paid based on how many viewers actually see the ads. YouTube is advanced. They know who's seen ads and who has had ads blocked. An ad blocked view is only worth a view, which is nice. Like, I appreciate the view and everything. I don't want to act like I'm ungrateful for that. Like, I appreciate you watching me even if you do use ad block. My point is the anger at me for liking that YouTube is doing this when, one, there's objectively good reasons why YouTube has been making these changes for the sake of its ability to exist as a platform, and two, the fact that like, I'm a content creator who makes, like, not a crazy amount of money by any means on YouTube and could absolutely use a pay bump. Actually, every YouTuber could use a pay bump, and that is what this has been doing and will continue to do. Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think YouTubers making more money is good. I also thought it was a bad take, Sanderhall, but after hearing your perspective on it, I've changed my mind on it. I appreciate that. I think it's even fine to disagree with me, as long as you hear what I have to say, but saying bad take or feels like a bad take, what does that even mean? Like, this early on is, like, you're already demonstrating you're not willing to hear my entire dissertation.
Really, but even more so a publicly traded company, their goal is to deliver value to shareholders.
Then ask YouTube to stop treating you like a piece of shit. This is the last thing you get to hear before I ban you, Poigster. Hey, YouTube, can you please stop treating me like shit? We have no power. What are you talking about? Are you fucking, like, why do I have to entertain arguments from people whose understanding of these platforms and the basic economics and functionality of this entire space is so outside of reality? Like, why do I have to entertain people like that? I do anyway, because I feel that, you know, maybe there's people that think like that are genuinely just misguided, but that person in particular gets the ban for annoying me the entire stream so far. I gave them so many chances, okay? I gave them so many. So many. Allow me to continue.
And you may not agree with that. You may think, well, they're big enough already. They don't deserve to get anything more from me. You shouldn't be surprised that they take an action like this in order to try to not lose money showing video to a user. And I do think it's a fairly entitled perspective to say, well, I deserve to be able to watch ad-free for free. And I'm not going to say, look, you're taking money out of my pocket, whatever. You would say, well, you, Jardon, you've made enough money in your time on YouTube. And maybe that is true as well. But I'm also in the same bucket of getting ad served as someone who is just breaking in and they've had their first month of deciding, I'm going to.
Here's my advice to all of you, okay? YouTube is inevitably going to be a subscription service platform effectively within 5 years. Mark my words. In less than 5 years, functionally, YouTube is going to be a subscription service, like Netflix. It will still technically be accessible for free, but the ad experience, the ad blockers will get progressively more advanced to the point where YouTube is just going to implement daily updates to like crush ad blockers. Like you just won't be able to keep up. Eventually you will give up and you won't bother updating them or finding a new one because it's just such a they will keep going forever. You will eventually get tired. It's just, that is how it is, right? So eventually, if you're going to watch YouTube without having to be flooded with ads, you're going to have to give in to what YouTube wants you to do. And I know that sounds bad. To an extent, I feel like it kind of is. But here's the best thing you can do. Make a YouTube channel. Make a YouTube channel. This is even more beneficial if you live in a country that has a currency that is way less valuable than the US dollar. Like, I don't know, the Philippines, for example. If you can get paid by Alphabet, in USD, and say you live in the Philippines or like Croatia or something, you will be making an absurdly high income in that country for starters, due to YouTube not localizing its like payments and prices means that people who are YouTubers in those countries end up getting paid a fuck ton. They are making a lot of money. But then, even if they'd be making like minimum wage in America or something. But then on the other hand, the prices for like YouTube Premium for people in those countries are ridiculously high because once again, the prices aren't localized. That aside though, start a YouTube channel and start making videos. It can be vlogs. Find something you enjoy. Hell, if you like animals, find like funny animals and just like record videos of them out in the wild and post them. If you've been thinking about something you could do well making YouTube videos, try it. See if you can just make a small amount of money from YouTube, because if you can make 15 or 20 bucks a month from YouTube ad revenue or viewership or just from YouTube, guess what you can pay off? YouTube Premium. And maybe much more, obviously, but it is not that unfeasible to say that if you really put your effort into it, you could pay off your YouTube Premium by doing YouTube. And hey, it's fun. You just need a phone. You legitimately just need a phone. I think if anything, YouTube should actually design their ads so they target people's actual interests. Making a working ad block for non-premium users would also go in their favor. Ads aren't the problem, it's the fact that they suck. Well, YouTube's not only just stretching into this, they're also, I don't know if you guys have seen this, YouTube Premium is also giving you games. They're adding games like Angry Birds and like tons of like flash game type things to YouTube Premium. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you like go to your homepage on YouTube Premium now, or when you have YouTube Premium now, you can scroll down to games, and it's not gaming content, it's games. You can straight up play browser games on YouTube now if you have YouTube Premium. So, yeah, like YouTube is really trying to make it so. Oh, it's just premium now? Premium, sure. They're really trying to make it so that people are exclusively paying for premium. Also, they encourage it within the YouTuber's payment as well. A premium viewer is worth more than an ad viewer.
To do this full time. And so there's not really a way to separate the two of those things either. Again, though, if you want.
Nope, I stopped using Hulu a decade ago when they started doing ads. I'll cut YouTube off too. Bonk. Are you just saying that you're just going to stop watching me when YouTube does this? Why would you say that in my chat? You're saying you're just going to stop watching me? Not only do I know you're full of shit, you're going to buckle and continue to pay, and you're going to buckle to the company because you're human and there's no other alternative. But why would you say that to me? My favorite thing is that the only response people can have to this take is to outright tell me, "Oh yeah, Xander Hall? Well, I hope that you end up in financial ruin. I'm not going to support you. I hope no one does." Like, that's literally the only response you can have to my take. What?
Want to play the part of the mole in the game of whack-a-mole with YouTube figuring out how to block each new ad blocker that circumvents their new policy. Like, you can do that, but it seems strange to be upset and think that they shouldn't take a stand against that. And look, to give a little bit of equal airtime here and not focus entirely on one side, I've seen responses to those sorts of comments I just talked about that said, yeah, dude, just get YouTube Premium. And I mean, look, I do all right for myself. And when I saw the price increase from like, I don't know, $10 to $14 a month a couple months ago, I was like, are you, what?
Oh, it's $14 a month. That is, like, $14 a month isn't nothing. Let's be clear. I'm not going to say $14 a month isn't nothing. All right? Like, that is, like, almost 2 hours of pay. Like, if you're working minimum wage. Like, $7.50, $7.85 is, like, minimum wage in most states. Some states, it's, like, a flat 8. So that would, like, that is about 2 hours of work for most people. If they're working, like, minimum wage, right? 1 hour for me. But that's a fair amount of money, right? That, like that $14 can cover some groceries, you know? That can cover some groceries. If you have a gas bill, that's practically your entire gas bill, you know? Like, at least for me it was. Whenever I had a gas bill, it was like $15 a month. It was like nothing. But, like, yeah, I can definitely see that being a issue, for sure, for some people. But it is actually a lot cheaper than I thought. Like, it's not that expensive if in return you get the YouTube viewing experience that, like, you've honestly probably never had unless you used AdBlock. And then on top of that, you get other benefits such as way more support to the creators you watch. Like, if you get YouTube Premium, every single time you watch a YouTuber that you like, you are supporting them more than any other type of viewer. And you're not getting any ads. And you'll get a bunch of other cool features too. Every YouTuber, it's not just me. Like, if you have or YouTube Premium and you watch me, obviously it benefits me, but every other YouTuber you watch is getting benefited from it too, for every view as well. The more people using YouTube Premium, the better it is for the platform, for reasons we already discussed due to cost of running it, as well as the better it is for every single content creator.
Bro, it's like a 40%.
Oh God. And we virtue signal, so, like, I see you guys virtue signal so much about how much, like, earlier in the stream you guys were virtue signaling about how rough YouTubers have it. Like, why doesn't YouTube treat their creators well? Like, oh, YouTube treats you like shit. You were laughing at the Dubus Goobus video. But now when we talk about a solution, the only solution that actually fixes the problem and can fix the problem, everyone's against it. Not everyone, but a lot of people are against it. And the funny thing is, the majority of YouTubers that are against it are big YouTubers. Small YouTubers and medium-sized YouTubers my size are in favor of this change. Captain Sparkles is one of the few large YouTubers honest enough and who has the balls enough to come forward and say his actual opinion. All those big YouTubers can afford frankly, whether or not YouTube makes the change, they can afford it, right? Like they aren't going to, like, they're big YouTubers, right? But they can afford to virtue signal to their audience, and since these changes are inevitable, and they'll also rake in the benefit. It's hardcore virtue signaling when big YouTubers say they're against this. Medium-sized YouTubers who are financially not well off are very much in favor of this change. Like, seriously, sitting through an ad is annoying, but it doesn't cost anything. Well, even then, like, I don't think you should sit through the ads. I think you should buy YouTube Premium. I think it's well worth it. I genuinely do. And I know people who say they never will and that they're just going to quit watching YouTube, and I just say, okay. All right, goodbye. Cool, because these changes are coming soon. Like, if you think you're going to have, like, years of YouTube to watch up ahead of you with ad block, no. You don't have that long till according to you, YouTube's just not a part of your life anymore. And if you think that's the thing you can do, you can enjoy cable or TikTok or Twitch or whatever your alternative is, then power to you.
And I mean, look, I do all right for myself. And when I saw the price increase from, like, I don't know, $10 to $14 a month a couple months ago, I was like, are you what? Bro, it's like a 40% increase in price on YouTube Premium. This is wild. I mean, inflation's, it's going pretty wild, but 40%, I don't think we're there yet in the CPI. Oh my goodness.
It's a lot.
So, like, I understand also not wanting to fork over the $14 a month, which I think is the new price now. Even though I've continued with it myself, I guess for me it feels more like an obligation, like it's my way to give back, versus it necessarily being something that is worth the $14. Although I will say, getting to listen to videos with the phone, black screened, is a very important feature. So they might still actually have me on that. And look, another component that I can empathize with on the pushback is that not only is YouTube trying to serve more people ads by getting rid of the blockers, but they are also trying to serve more ads to every person. And ads simply are a bit more intrusive now than they were years back. And I even wish that on my end, I could go into my channel settings and I could say, you know what? I don't really
We have no control over this shit.
want to have political campaign ads showing up on my videos, because it's just, I don't know, is that what I want to associate with my content? But I don't have the ability to make those changes on my end. I'm simply subjected to the ads that Google wishes.
There's nothing I can do about the fact that literal hate group, like far-right shit, advertises on my videos. PragerU ads appear on my videos. I have no control over what appears.
To show that match my content. So it's definitely not a perfect system. But what I will say is that the system they have in place, in terms of the amount of ads that they are serving to people, they don't really just mess around and fire off a global site change without doing a significant amount of testing beforehand with smaller subsets of users. And so when you see, oh my goodness, it seems like they've started serving more ads, or you see, hey, what the heck, they have stopped allowing my ad blocker. If it's a global change at that point, there is a very, very good chance that the data they got from their many, many iterations of small tests with small subsets of users, they have seen that it's actually worked positively in favor of their goals as a company.
This is the fact that so many people are not willing to accept. People keep saying, and I've even said it myself, YouTube is getting worse, YouTube is getting worse, YouTube is getting worse. But guess what isn't saying YouTube is getting worse? The numbers. YouTube's not making money, that's true. But the numbers are going up. New users joining, viewership is going up, uploaded hours are going up, watched hours are going up consistently, exponentially even. Not exponentially, but very quickly. Channels are growing, yeah. Like Mr. Beast is now at what? It's like 200 plus million subs, 215 million subs, I think he's at. The biggest of YouTube channels are getting bigger. The average channel that's considered like a big channel is getting bigger. It used to be 100,000 subs was considered a big channel. Now 100,000 subs is considered like a small niche YouTuber. Like maybe an up-and-comer, but they might fall off, you know? Like 100K subs now is nothing. I mean, not as I'm not saying this is an insult, but like in the grand scheme of things, by YouTube standards these days, 100K subs is nothing when like there are YouTubers who have over 200 million, right? So it's like the scale has just gone up and up and up and up and up. So we can say the platform's just gotten worse, but that is not reflecting in the amount of people using the platform. The data that YouTube has access to is way better than what we have access to. So whether you like these changes or not, or you're personally going to leave, just know YouTube has the data that shows the vast majority of people will not leave. The vast majority of people will suck it up, and frankly, more likely than not, fork over the $14. And YouTube will be making more money than they ever were before. And content creators will be making more money than they ever were before. And the changes will be unpopular at first, but in hindsight, we'll all recognize that it had to be done, as the entire internet changes before our very eyes over the course of the years, a boiling of the frog. And the internet in 5 years from now, 10 years from now especially, will be unrecognizable from the internet we have today, and certainly the internet we had 10 years ago. I'm not talking about the culture. I'm talking about like what you can do, what sites you can access, and how you access them. It is going to be very different. The capitalismization of the internet is truly beginning is really beginning to accelerate.
Company. And so that's why, like, in the past, I used to...
Zan, I'm still not convinced by this argument so far, but if I was absolutely forced to endure ads, I'd prefer to be able to choose what ads I see, like literally being able to go through a list of companies or services and accept what I want to see. That would be ideal, but there's just... I'm not, like... I am not arguing that there isn't a better way to do it. I'm not arguing that there isn't a way to tweak this solution to make it perfect as far as solutions that would work go. The problem is, this is happening. Like, there's nothing I can say. Like, nothing I say changes that. This is happening. And I am trying to point out to you why it's happening, and trying to point out the silver lining in why it's happening, so that you can all understand that this isn't just YouTube being evil and disconnected and out of touch. Like, you're going to hear a lot of stupid, uninformed people say. This is happening for good reason, and this is a very smart business decision. Arguably the only decision that could have been made. The inevitable point that we are going to end up at. And the only thing you can do is prepare. Mentally, and maybe even financially.
Complain all the time about changes to the site. Like, why are you burying the subscriptions tab? It's all algorithmic now. People aren't going to see my videos as much. Why are you getting rid of the cool custom
Thank you for the raid, Tipster.
channel page designs, all this sort of stuff? And I've learned over time, again, YouTube they don't make changes lightly. They test and test and test.
They do.
But what they're testing for is, do those changes work towards their goals as a website? Not as much, do those goals help Jardon making his videos? And so while I'm not excited, that is the reality, and I've simply learned to accept it. And the same is true here. And so I see an article like this. YouTube's crackdown spurs record uninstalls of ad blockers. So you see people saying, like, how could they do this? I should be able to watch with my ad blocker. But their tests have determined that people are actually more likely to cave and get rid of the ad blocker.
Damn right.
Because they value the content that they're watching more.
The people in chat saying they will not pay for ad block, or they will not pay for premium, they will quit YouTube, they won't watch the ads, they'll just keep installing new ad blockers, they will cave. The data shows they will cave. They are just trying to talk themselves up. This is the future.
More than they do the inconvenience of having to watch the ad in order to access it. Now, you could argue in a case like this where it says, oh, usually there's 6,000 uninstallations per day. Now it's almost doubled to 11,000. Well, maybe some of those people are spiking to even 52,000 here. Maybe some of those people are just, they're playing the part of the mole again in the whack-a-mole game, trying to switch to another that can get around the new policy. So it's hard to know what's happening there, but it reminds me very much of the case with Netflix.
It shows that they actually have to do something. Imagine like every day when YouTube updates, because YouTube patches every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Imagine every day when YouTube releases a patch and they stomp your ad blocker, you have to go uninstall your ad blocker, which is a whole like click, 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 and then go search up a new ad blocker extension, scroll till you find one that's updated today, most recently, and works, and then install that, and then enjoy it until the next day or the next patch that could happen that same day, and re-breaks your ad blocker. People will cave. They simply will. Also, what he's about to say about Netflix is super fucking true. If you want to, so how many of you guys think that Netflix is currently suffering for the unpopular changes they've been making? Think again.
They can get around the new policy. So it's hard to know what's happening there, but it reminds me very much of the case with Netflix over the last year. Remember when Netflix said, love is sharing a password? Yeah, well, then back in, I think, May, they were like, you know what? Just kidding. Our stock is way, way down and our growth prospects aren't looking super great. So, we didn't delete this tweet. We're not entirely sure why. But, yeah, we're making a change. Look, so Netflix, they got real low there. And then they ended up having to make some changes to their business model. They introduced the ad-supported tier. And they also decided, we're not going to let you share passwords outside of the same household anymore. And they really changed their policy on that. And everyone at the time was like, frick this. I'm not going to get Netflix if I can't use so-and-so relative's password login. They're gonna get my boycott. This is going to be the end of Netflix. Well, actually, it worked out pretty well for them, and they've converted a lot of those password sharers into new accounts. They have a whole bunch of people on board in the ad-supported tiers, and
This was when everyone was talking about Netflix was going to die, and Netflix was literally, arguably, actually going to die. They implemented that unpopular change, and now Netflix is back, heading northeast. It doesn't seem like it's on any chance of stopping anytime soon. When people online talk about how they're gonna boycott, they're gonna leverage their wallet, especially for programs like Netflix and YouTube, such fundamental, unescapable platforms. People are gonna put up with it for as long as it is actually capable of being used. Twitter might be the only exception to this because Twitter is actually functionally breaking. There are days where Twitter just won't load your timeline and you can't post anything, or you get post limited or whatever, rate limited. So with Twitter, that might be the exception, because even if you do pay, the site will just break. But besides that, this stuff works. These unpopular changes that everyone talks about they're going to boycott these services for work.
share price has ticked right back up, and the Netflix password sharing crackdown is officially working.
You guys want to hear a funny one? A Blizzard employee leaked this recently. Or ex-Blizzard employee leaked this recently. A $15 store mount from World of Warcraft made more money than all of StarCraft 2 did for Blizzard. One single $15 store mount made Blizzard more money than all of StarCraft 2. What's a store mount? A mount you can get to ride on in World of Warcraft that you buy from the store. The in-game store with real money. Technically, you can use gold. If you use the gold to buy a WoW token and then turn the WoW token into wallet Blizzard money, or money in your Blizzard wallet, and then use that to buy the mount. But yeah. And guess what? Store mounts are one of the most hated things in the WoW community. But guess what? Store mounts are the biggest income source Blizzard has. That's capitalism for you.
Working despite that pushback that we saw initially. People ended up deciding the content actually was more.
A sub-based game should never have a cash shop. Yeah, that's why I mostly play Classic, because Classic has none of the bullshit that retail has.
More valuable in the end. And so this YouTube ad block scenario,
by the way, you could practically use YouTube as a replacement for most streaming services. How many shows and movies have you seen advertised to you for rent on YouTube or are just straight up available with YouTube Premium. I didn't realize this until recently. I clicked on my YouTube Premium movies page. There's so many fucking movies and shows I can watch. Like, I was looking for a show I wanted to watch or a movie I wanted to watch the other day, and I couldn't find a streaming service to watch it on until I realized it was on YouTube Premium, and I was like, wait, I have YouTube Premium. And I was able to watch it there. So, like, you can use it as a substitute. YouTube Premium has movies, and they are absolutely planning to dominate that market. You better fucking believe Google wants to try to make YouTube the place people go to for all forms of video watching. They're trying to beat Twitch, too.
Reminds me a bit of the Netflix thing. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the folks at Google maybe even looked at Netflix, saw how this panned out, and it gave them a little bit of encouragement that, hey, even if our data is showing one thing, also here's a case study that we can look at, and it actually worked favorably for them in that we can, you know, hit some pain points a bit more.
YouTube Premium has a massive marketing problem. If YouTube was more open with what you could do with Premium outside of just no ads and turning off your phone screen, people would be more receptive. Yeah, I agree. Yep. A lot of people just think YouTube Premium lets you, like, maybe download videos, turn off your phone screen while listening to a video, or, like, not having ads. But the amount of extra features they've been adding, and they're expanding it. Like, YouTube has been consistently and constantly making YouTube Premium better. Every month, I'm like, whoa, that's cool, because they've added a new neat thing YouTube Premium has. The money that I pay for YouTube Premium becomes more worth it every passing month. That is a good thing.
For our users in blocking their ad block, and they'll still stay on the platform because there really aren't other competitors. And look, if you are very upset about not being able to use ad blocker, you can try to find video elsewhere, right? There just, again, isn't really much else to go to. If YouTube makes changes draconian enough that it drives enough users off of the site, they will see...
And rest assured, if any competitor ever manages by some miracle to compete with YouTube legitimately, it will inevitably end up where YouTube is now. This is the, like, final state, like the final evolution of corporations online.
A negative result in their data, and they will probably make changes accordingly, or otherwise they will open an opportunity for a competitor to come in. So those are all possibilities, but they've determined that the upside is better than the downside in what they're doing, and that's why it's gone this way. So all that said, I try not to let my bias impact what I was saying here. Again, I obviously like it when people watch ads or have YouTube Premium, especially YouTube Premium. It is like a very small subset of the YouTube user base, but it accounts for a much, much more outsized portion of a channel's revenue, especially on a channel that has longer videos, like my second channel with the stream VOD.
Same.
But I'm not here again to shame people who use ad blocker. If you want to do that and you want to now try to play that whack-a-mole game, then more power to you.
I really like Captain Sparkles. He's obviously one of the best Minecraft YouTubers that ever was, period. There is no debate. There simply is not. I think he actually is the best Minecraft YouTuber. I'm just going to say that. Like, think about how many big Minecraft YouTubers there are. He is still around. He is still as charming and entertaining and fun as he always was. He is humble as fuck despite living in a very, very big mansion. He's like just a very chill dude. And on top of that, and this matters when we're talking Minecraft YouTubers, as far as we can tell, he has not raped a single kid. And that's fucking impressive. For a YouTuber that's been a big Minecraft YouTuber we've known and loved since many of us, for me, were 10, that's a big deal. That's a big bonus. So yeah, the fact that he also has a good take on this made me really happy. I was very happy watching this video when I saw it, and I thought it'd be good to go over it and sort of have his video as a sort of a basis for me to make my argument on top of, you know? So yeah. Also, password time. Because I know for a fact a ton of people are going to hate comment on this video, because I always get a lot of hate whenever I express my take on this issue. And I want to see how many people just don't watch the whole video, hear my whole argument and all the information behind it, and just leave their hate comment. If you don't leave the term LFG space one more DM. It stands for looking for one more, or looking for group one more dead mines, or looking for group dead mines. How about that? LFG space DM. It's a WoW reference. LFG DM. Just that. And there's a space in between. I'll type it. Looking for group dead. DM means dire mall. I know, but when you're typing it in the Westfall chat, people just know it means dead mines, so you can use DM there and it's fine. Trust me. I know. I played a lot of Classic, okay? If you're in Barrens, then people know it means Dire Mall. And if you're in fucking Westfall, people know it means Dead Mines, okay? People are very aware, all right? People figured that out a long time ago, and people just kind of intuit that. Anyway, there's no Barrens chat in Westfall. Not Barrens chat, Westfall chat. I'm stoned right now. Why are you nitpicking what I say? Why are you doing this? Why do you torture me this way? I genuinely hate all of you. I really do. I hate all of you. That is my final statement for this segment.